Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Today I'm going to be talking to you about arthritis, how to help dogs with arthritis. So these are my three dogs here, and the one that's got arthritis is Humps here. He is our rescue. He's come from South Korea, and we've had him for 7 weeks. And one of the things that the vets has discovered since we've had him is that he has really awful arthritis in one of his back legs. It's this leg nearest to us, you can see it. And in this video I'm just going to go through with you the things that I've done that have helped him. Since we've got him, he's made incredible improvements, like really quite amazing improvements. I know he still looks really bad. Oh, he's sitting down having a chomp on some grass. I know he still looks really bad, but compared to what he was, it's a massive improvement. So I'm just going to go through in this video all the things that I have done. So the first thing that we had to deal with was his weight. So when he came to us, Humps, he was really it's a dog having a roll around. He was really overweight. I mean, he was just like a barrel, really bad overweight. And we had to get that sorted out, because you think about it, you've got all that weight on the joint. That in itself is just going to cause all sorts of problems. And the other thing is that weight, fat holds inflammation, and so inflammation is really terrible for arthritis. Now, something I will say this morning on this is that if it's rained, it hasn't even got to be raining. If it's rained, then Humps will be a whole lot worse. And it's not raining now, but it has rained in the night, so it's damp this morning. It's also very misty, so that's all creating damp. And there's no doubt about it that when it's like this, his arthritis gets so much worse. And that's the thing that first really drew my attention to the fact that there was a problem, is that I noticed that when it was wet, he was so much worse. And I was smack on with that. That's exactly what it is. He did have arthritis. He has got arthritis. So their weight is the first thing that we had to sort out. And without question, since doing that, it's helped no end. He's still got a lot of weight to lose, but he's got a nice shape now, and you can definitely see that he's lost the weight. Now, don't lose the weight too quickly. That's not good for dogs. We actually found it really easy for him to lose weight. Just putting him on a good diet. He's not hungry at all. There's still plenty of food, but just putting him on a good diet, and that has helped no end. And so really, please don't get your dog fat. I mean, it's not just for arthritis, for a million different reasons. Your dog shouldn't be fat. It's a really cruel thing to do to a dog. So getting his weight off him has been incredibly important. Right, exercise. Exercise is really important, but it's really important that you don't do too much. So with Humps here, I walk him every morning. I don't walk him in the evening. I only do it in the morning. And it's controlled. Now, what's been happening is, as his leg's been getting better, he's been wanting to run, and that's really lovely that he's feeling well enough to run. That's really lovely, because he could hardly walk when we first got him. It was awful. And so it's really lovely that he wants to run, but that's not good for his joints. So I do let him do a little bit of running, but then I stop him and just have him walking nice and slowly. Generally, on the whole, he sort of walks at a nice pace, and so that's good for him. I don't do too much walking. So what we do is we have him out for about an hour in the morning, but that is not all walking. That is a lot of sitting around watching the world go by, talking to people, saying hello to dogs and stuff. That is not all walking. The walk is very slow. We pootle along. It's all very slow and very easy. Don't do too much walking, because remember, when they're walking, they've got no cartilage around those bones. So those bones are just going to be bashing next to each other. So keep it all nice and steady. But also, the exercise has built up the muscle in his back legs, which has helped him to be able to stand and hold his own body weight, and it's also helped him to lose the weight. So with the exercise, you're getting so many advantages. If you've got a dog and they haven't been exercised, and they've got fat, exercise will help build the muscle up, and then that in turn will just be able to help those legs to be able to hold, be able to deal with the arthritis better. So that's the other one. So exercise, it's really important that you get them exercised. I think if you've got a dog like we have, where he's come from cage-like conditions and stuff like that and hasn't been exercised, his back legs haven't been used. He probably hasn't wanted to use them because of the arthritis. You put on top of that the weight. It's just an absolute disaster, and It's an absolute recipe for the back legs to just not work. And that's what happened when humps came to us. The back legs just hadn't been used. And now with using them, it's helped so much. So it is important to get your dog out for exercise, but keep it very controlled. Right, so I want to talk to you about the treatment that we are using for humps. So we have chosen to go down a natural treatment route, basically because we don't have any other option. When you go to the vet, they'll offer you anti-inflammatories in tablet form. But the problem with that is there's two things. The first problem for us is that every anti-inflammatory tablet he tried made him really sick, literally coming out both ends that day, really sick. So not an option. And the other problem is with anti-inflammatories is that they have to test every so often. It's quite regularly. I don't know how often it is, but quite regularly to see whether or not it's mucking up their liver, because it can muck up their liver. And so that involves blood tests. So that anti-inflammatory tablets weren't an option for us. Then there is an injection. It's quite a new injection, and you have it once a month, and it lasts for a month. And the vet told me that it bypassed the stomach, as it would do because it's an injection, and it has absolutely no side effects at all. So we were going to go with that, and I did record another video when that was our option. I've since deleted it because I've changed my mind. So we were going to go with that as an option, but the vet said there was absolutely no side effects at all. And this is why I hate vets, because they just lie. When we researched it, that is an absolute lie. There are so many side effects, and they're really, really bad. And they last for the whole month then, because obviously the injection lasts a month, so you can't just stop giving it to them and get it out of the system. So it lasts for the whole month, and their behavioural problems, pacing, panting, really distressed, disorientated, don't know where they are, just staring into space, confused about where they are. Really bad, honestly, really, really bad, about as bad as it gets. And so, of course, there was no way on this earth I'm putting humps on them, no way. Because if you do it and that happens, you're stuck for a month with that behavioural problem. Or just no way, I'm not putting my dog through that. And as always, don't believe what I say. Go on Google the side effects of them, and you'll see them. There's a Facebook completely dedicated just to the side effects of the injection. And it's horrific, and there's no way I'm risking humps with that. So we have no option but to go down the natural route, which I do kind of prefer. With myself, I go down the natural route with anything that's wrong with me. Not always. I mean, obviously there are times when you need proper you need medication from the doctors or whatever. But if I can, I will. And on the whole, I find that it works much better. But that isn't the option I would have, not necessarily. I'm not taking this option with humps because of that, just because I have no other choice. And also, the other thing is with the injection and the anti-inflammatory tablets, people are saying that they might work great for the first month or two, and then they stop working. Whereas if you can go down a more natural route, that is long term, and rather than just masking the pain, it actually sorts out the arthritis. So I'm going to talk to you in a minute about the different supplements and stuff that I use with him, and how that's going. Okay, so this is what I'm using. So before we even got humps, I've got two other dogs. One of them's 9, and the other one hurt his leg a few years ago, just pulled a muscle. And there's a slight weakness there with it. So before humps even came, I was giving my dog these 3 things. So glucosamine. Now, the brands I've got, we will change as and when we want to. I don't stick to one brand, but you do need to make sure you've got yourself a good quality brand. If it seems too cheap, it's going to be rubbish. So, do your research, get a good quality brand. The first thing we use is glucosamine, and at the moment I'm using this one, Flexor Joint for Pets, and it's a glucosamine tablet. Now next week, I'm going to do a video about what arthritis actually is and what these supplements actually do and how they actually work and how they help. So I'll do that video next week. So just to tell you for now, glucosamine, I've given that to my dogs for a while now, and it really works great on like stiff joints and stuff like that. And so as soon as you've got humps, put them straight onto that. Green lip mussel is great for building up the cartilage and helping dogs a lot. Again, next week I'll do a more in-depth video on that. But it's just green lipped mussel. There we go. Green lipped mussel. And that has been proven over and over again to be so effective for things like arthritis. So that's another thing that I use every day. My dogs have these. And then salmon, and I actually started giving them Albert that because he had a bad skin condition when we first got him. Sorted it out completely now, but that's originally why they're on it. But obviously you've got the oil from that, and so that is really, really good. The salmon oil will lubricate joints and help that. Again, I'll go into more detail next week about what that exactly does. So then, when Humps came along with the arthritis, the new thing that we're trying and has worked really, really well is this, turmeric and black pepper. I take turmeric every day, and I can tell you that I know it works. Takes inflammation down. I suffer really badly with arthritis in one of my hands, and that's just from years of crocheting, and turmeric definitely helps with it. So these are the tablets that I use, and like I said, not particularly any brand, it's just want a really good quality tablet, and so this is the one we use. Now the thing is, in humans, it has been proven that you have to have turmeric, black pepper and a fat, otherwise you can't absorb the turmeric, and that's without question. That's not debatable. That is what it is. But what they're saying is with dogs is that they need the black pepper for the turmeric to go into their body, but they don't need the fat. I'm going to research that more, but they've done lots of research on it. Since we've been given Humps the turmeric, he has really, really, really got an awful lot better. This morning was quite a horrible morning because it was really misty outside, and he was, as you saw, you'll see a bit of a video where he's exercised. And in that video, you'll see that he kept sitting down and that he was stopping and he was a lot slower. And that is because it's misty. But on other mornings when it isn't misty, he is running around and he's full of it, bouncing about all over the place. And compared to what he was like 7 weeks ago, that is incredible. And so I'm really, really pleased with the turmeric. So I definitely recommend that you get your dogs onto a turmeric. I would definitely recommend that. Don't just give it to them don't just buy it and give it to them, because you got to look at the amounts and stuff. But also you need the black pepper. So that's what I've got him on there. So that's the supplements that we've got him on. Now there is it's not a new thing, but it's new to me, and it's called hyaluronic acid. It's HYALURONIC, hyaluronic acid. Now I haven't got them on it at the moment. I've read about it recently, and I'm going to research it, and I'm going to do another video on that. So that's just something that you might want to have a look at. But I've heard it and read it's very, very good for arthritic joints. And so I'm going to look into that product. I don't know anything about it at all. So I'm going to look into that product, and then I will get back to you and I'll let you know how that has gone. So that is the supplements. Oh, and before I forget, paracetamol, which I know isn't a supplement. So he's on paracetamol. So he's on one tablet, just human tablets, 500 ml one, just a normal tablet that you just buy from Tesco or whatever. And we divided it into 3, and we've put it in this pill box to make sure there's absolutely no mistakes of when he's being fed it. And I've no idea whether that's working or not. I'm not sure about paracetamol, because I'm a real believer in, if you keep taking painkillers, your body just gets used to them and it doesn't work. And so I really hardly ever take painkillers. If I do, you know that I'm in a lot of pain. But I also find that it works really well because I hardly ever take them. So I'm a bit dubious about the paracetamol. I'm not sure. But just in case it does work, I am giving it to him. So I divide a tablet up by 3. And then so with that one he has with his morning breakfast. That one he has at lunchtime with food. I feed him a little bit at lunchtime and give him that. And then the evening one we don't do with his evening meal, because I figured by the time he was going to bed it would be wearing off. So we do that one just before he's gone to bed, the last one, so that when he goes to bed he's got the pain relief. Like I said, I really don't know whether the paracetamol works or not, but it's something that we've got him on at the moment. So that's the supplements that he's on. Right, I want to talk to you next about food. Now, this kind of hits a lot of different things, because so when he came to us, he'd been fed a dry biscuit. Right, let's just make this perfectly clear. I have done my research. I am fanatical about dog nutrition. There is no such thing as good kibble. No such thing. All kibble has to have... Shall we look at him over there? All kibble has to have cereal and grains in it for them to actually be able to make it. Cereals and grains cause inflammation. No question about that. They cause inflammation. So not only do they cause inflammation and cause problems for arthritis and stuff like that, but they also cause inflammation and cause problems for skin, hot spots, itchiness. They're just no good. No dog should be eating grains and cereal. They just shouldn't be doing it. Again, Reese, you Google it, it's all there. So the first thing is, if you've got a dog with arthritis, get them off the cereals and the grains. They do nothing but harm. Now, I've done a whole video on how to understand the back of ingredients, a composition of a dog food, and I'll link them actually at the end. And really, I can't tell you enough how if you've got your dogs on kibble and you change it, they will lose weight, and the inflammation will leave their body. And so we just feed them this. It's just Barking Heads, not sponsored or anything like that. But the reason that I love this so much is that 85% 3-1 chicken. That is 85% of actual chicken. And if you look on the back of some ingredient packets, it's like 25%, 20%, 14%. It's shocking. And the rest is all cereals and grains, which is going to do nothing but make them ill. So please, please, please look at your dog food and what you're feeding your dog. A lot of dogs who haven't got severe arthritis, that is the only difference you're going to need to make. Change their food and you will change their life. So I'll also link those videos in the description box. But really, it's worth watching, because I've gone into the composition and I've gone through different brands with you. And what is quite shocking is that, so this is Barking Heads, who I absolutely love as a wet food. But when I went to look at their dry food, I was shocked at how bad it was. And it's because it's the only way you can make dry food. You can't make dry food without putting cereals and grains in it. So change of the diet is absolutely vital. And like I said earlier in the walk, get fat off them. I mean, Humps has still got a lot of weight to lose, but compared to what he was when he came, he's making such progress. And so I'm really hoping that with losing the rest of his weight, that is going to help his arthritis no end. Please don't let your dogs be fat. Please don't do it to them. It's cruel. Please don't do it to them. So get the weight off your dogs. And you know, that goes for everything. Absolutely no tidbits. Nothing with just no tidbits. Just feed your dogs the food that they should be fed. And then so like I do training with them every afternoon, and so that's all, you know, accounted for. They have a treat before they go to bed. And that's all accounted for, and it's all just thought about. And so absolutely no tidbits. It doesn't do them any good at all. Get that weight off and you will help their arthritis. Right, the next thing I want to talk to you is heat. So the thing that alarmed me, or well, not alarmed me, but the thing that made me think I think Humps has got arthritis, was that if it was raining or cold or damp, he was an awful lot stiffer and in more pain. So you don't want to look at heater. I'll go back to the heater in a minute. There we go. Look at Albert's head. That's what alarmed me to the fact that I think it's arthritis, and I was right. It is arthritis. And if it is raining or cold or damp, he's a lot stiffer first thing in the morning, and then it's like he's warmed up, and then we start to see all the benefits of the turmeric and all the other stuff. So what we do is, I'm not a person that feels the cold, so that's not a great combination, really. And my husband kind of doesn't really either. So we don't have the heating on an awful. We're doing when it's cold, but we don't always have it on first thing in the morning. But even though the house doesn't feel particularly cold, I can tell that Humps is struggling a little bit first thing in the morning. And so he sleeps, well, he can sleep wherever he wants to sleep, but he tends to sleep in the sitting room on the sofa at night. But then in the morning, life all happens from the kitchen. So I feed my boys an hour before we go out in the morning. So I get up, I feed them, and then I go and get showered and get myself all ready. And so he's got an hour to warm his legs up. But I find even just that time isn't always long enough if it's cold. So what we do is we've got this heater here. So we've got a couple of these, and we've one in the kitchen, and then I have one here in the sitting room. And I just turn it on in the kitchen, and it really, really warms it up quickly. What is it? I want to say DeLonghi. Oh, it doesn't say it on there. But anyway, we just got these from Amazon. And the heat comes off really well. It's a really, really good way to just warm up a small area, especially at the moment with, how much it's costing to have heating and stuff on. So we're just heating up the kitchen while we're in there. And then when they have their breakfast in the morning, and then when while I'm getting myself ready, they're just sort of hanging around in the kitchen area. And it just means that it's nice and warm in there, and it's really toasty. And I noticed that since we've been doing that, he's definitely been better in the morning. The other thing is that I've got no dogs to film. Oh, hang on, let me find you oh yeah, we've got a dog here. We've got a little Albert. Hello, darling. The other thing is that if I got up and took the dog straight out for a walk, that would be terrible for Humps's leg. That would be really, really bad, because he wouldn't have had time to warm it up. And even in the time he's got an hour between getting up and us going out, even in that time, as you saw this morning, because it was really misty, he was quite stiff on the walk. When I recorded this morning, when I videoed, that was the beginning of the walk, and he was really quite stiff. By the end of the walk, he was bounding along at quite a pace. So he does need to warm up. So I wouldn't ever take Humps out for a walk straight away. Luckily, my routine doesn't work like that. They have to wait about an hour. And so that works really well. It also means that because they have their breakfast as soon as they get up, and then they wait an hour before we go out. By the way, that waiting the hour is really important. Don't ever feed a dog and then just take them straight out. There's bloat and all that to worry about, but that's a whole different video. But it means that he's getting his pain relief, he's getting the turmeric, and all the supplements are getting into him, and then it's got an hour to get into his body. So I think that's really important. I think it would be really awful to just get up, take him straight out for a walk. I know a lot of people feed their dogs after the walk. I know that, and there's, it's just a very personal thing. Here he is, a little darling. It's just a very personal thing. But I think it's really important that that you give him a bit of time to get up and get going. A bit like us. I mean, if we're getting on a bit, we need a bit of time to get up and get going. And it's exactly the same with dogs with arthritis. Something I do just want to mention, because you'll have seen it and someone will mention it, is here. This is little Albert. He's my old boy. That on his arm here, it isn't anything. All it is he had a gnat bite in the summer. He licked it. And if you know anything about Bichon Frise, when they lick their skin, they make it go brown. It's the weirdest thing. And because he licked that, it goes brown. And it stains, and it almost like sort of scars not the skin, but it's just the oddest thing. It takes you ages to get rid of it. So just in case anybody wondered what that is. So we'll end with Humps playing with his toys. He's definitely come to life now this morning. Now he's all warmed up. It's a horrible, horrible condition, this arthritis, and it's actually quite heartbreaking to watch him have it. You can see here he's still got a fair old bit of weight to lose. But when he came to us, he was an absolute barrel. There was no shape there at all. And you can see he's kind of got a bit of a waist now. So that's he's losing the weight at a nice pace. You don't want that to be too quick. So he's losing that at a nice pace. And that just gives me so much more hope that that will relieve more pain from his legs. So that's it. I haven't got anything else to say on the subject, but please, two things. If you've got any questions, as always, pop them in comments. But if you've got a dog that's got arthritis, can you please tell me what you're doing and how you're managing it? I'd be really, really interested to know that. I'd also be interested to know if you have gone down the road of having the injections and how that's gone for you, because I do like to see the both sides of it, but unfortunately I just wasn't prepared to take that risk with Humps. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, it's all under Furry and Spoilt, hashtag Furry and Spoilt. I'm still doing my photo challenge, my dog walk photo challenge every day. Really enjoying doing that. I'd love you to join me with that because you're all over the world. I have viewers all over the world, which I love. And so I'd really love to know where you're from and you know, go onto Instagram and Twitter and take a photograph of your morning walk. Stick it under Furry and Spoilt. Tag me in. I'd really, really love to see them. So that is it all. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.